Cyberdark does remember to switch over to the fast speed, fortunately.
All right, so after the kind words from the king, we are going to find a magic key. Ooh, dual key seed to start it with. A torch. And another key, obviously. They're now noticing the lackluster strength. We'll see if they go straight to the treasury or if they go to the back of the castle first.
The first thing they'll probably do is go back and save their game so that they can check what's in the treasury to see if it's worth burning that key. Cyberdark actually chooses not to save his game, but he goes back in and out of the throne room to set up the chest glitch. Meanwhile, YakkoWakko is indeed saving his game.
For those unfamiliar with the chest glitch, the game can only store in its code 8 open chests. So once the 9th chest is opened, it doesn't open, and it just stays closed, and you can take whatever is in it as many times as you want. So right now, Cyberdark86, he reset the game, he's going to go through the opening sequence again. He's going to leave this throne room that had 3 chests. These chests never respawn, so they were replaced with open chests when you go back into the throne room. So that puts 6 chests open in the memory, and then when he goes down there, he'll open 2 other chests, and then he will open the gold, and was there an herb in there as well?
I couldn't tell what else was in there. I know the armor was in there, I know the stones were in there, I know there was gold, and I forget what the fourth item is.
And forget what I said, because he's going straight back to the back of the castle to see what's there first.
And it looks to be swamped south, based upon that movement. He looks around, sees the swamp everywhere, and I'm wondering if he's going to reset again to get his armor back. He's just trying to probably check if there's a town around to make doing a gold grind worth it.
He may be. And we see the free cave over there. Inside it was dragon scale, so that's a 2 defense for our runners.
I'm wondering if maybe Cyberdark is thinking, let's see if we can hold off till we get 85 gold, and then can purchase another key so we can do everything at once. I'm not sure exactly what the plan of action is here. Meanwhile, YakkoWakko is strolling across the swamp without issue, because among the many things Erdrick's Armor does for you is it makes it so you don't take damage to the swamp or barrier tiles. It also makes you immune to stop spell, recovers a hit point for every step you take, decreases hurt more and fire breath damage by a factor of 1/3, as well as offering you just 28 defense. So it's quite a wonderful item to have, especially early on.
That it is, and YakkoWakko is going to take about this 1 minute exploration advantage due to having Erdrick's Armor and Cyberdark's multiple resets. He's actually traveled quite far for a level 1 character.
Yeah, he certainly... Well, I mean, part of it has to do with the fact that starting agility of 21 is really high. And so there's a lot of enemies he can get away from. Now, this werewolf might be pushing that a little bit, but with the Erdrick's Armor, he actually survived a hit from that, too. And as soon as Cyberdark resets and finds the armor, he finds Cantlin and sees that maybe that gold grind would have been a possible opportunity.
No large or no silver shield, but a large shield right there. And it also makes me wonder if they have enough HP to get here with the key to see what... Oh no, they wouldn't have enough to get to the barrier tiles anyways. Unless, of course, they had Erdrick's Armor, which they do, but no key. Ah, quite the conundrum.
Well, you know, generally speaking, one of the things you're saving up for, Erdrick's Armor takes care of most of that in and of itself. So they know the gold's there. They'll have the opportunity to set up a grind when they find the mountain cave or the grave. So they'll just move on happy with their overpowered armor and see what else they can do. Now that they've got Caitlin here, we can buy a weapon and be able to take on monsters a little bit better, take that 7 strength.
And I believe we have our first kill of the seed. YakkoWakko20 taking out a red slime. And another. 1 experience now away from level 2. Normally it takes 7 experience to get to the 2nd level. However, in this randomizer way we have it set up, it takes 75% of the normal experience to reach the next level. If we went with the very fast experience flag, it would be 50% instead.
Up2NG makes a good point. They have that money. They've gone to, or at least Cyberdark has found Caitlin and gone there, opting to stock up on herbs and some torches. But one thing you can do is you could buy fairy water, and you can throw that at an enemy, and it's the same thing as a hurt spell of 9 to 16 damage, and there is absolutely no resistance unless you're a metal slime. So it's an easy way to get some kills on early enemies that you wouldn't ordinarily be able to do damage to. You can get rid of a scorpion or a magician or a magidrake without a whole lot of issue by throwing a fairy water at them.
Absolutely. And we have Cyberdark going back getting his dragon scale. Looks like YakkoWakko's stream is stuttering just a little bit, but it is catching back up, so he's probably playing at normal speed, and the stream is delayed just a little bit.
We get our first level, and we have a heal spell, which is going to... I mean, it's going to be nice. It's not overly important at the moment just because of the Erdrick's armor and their low HP amount, meaning that by the time they take a few steps, they're going to be healed back to full. But it will prove to be quite useful as time goes on.
We have YakkoWakko going up a 2nd time to save with the king. Maybe he's just trying to preserve the gold that he does have.
And Cyberdark is at level 3 with the outside spell being learned. Not something that offers us a whole lot at the moment, although, given that underneath the castle is Swamp South, it allows us to get to the north with ease, because outside allows us to get to the north. Problem is, of course, that we've used up our keys, so that access to the swamp is not available at the moment.
That it is, and also level 3 brought an additional 10 mana, so substantial increase, and we'll have a little bit more MP to use that heal spell with. As you mentioned earlier, though, right now, not too much of a concern, though later on, once they're fighting more powerful enemies and not being able to heal walk in between, definitely will come in handy.
Yeah, and I just had to do a double take there because I could have sworn the last time I looked at Cyberdark's screen he was gaining 20 HP, and then I looked at it again and he was gaining 20 HP again. It was not actually deja vu, but it was 2 consecutive levels with 20 HP gains, so now on level 4 we have 75 hit points. It does mean that it actually may benefit YakkoWakko here in that the extra HP he's missing out on from having the Strength Agility build may prove to be meaningless, given that they're already so high on hit points.
May indeed, although distinct possibility that the next 10 levels will just have a couple HP each. It'll be interesting to see where they fall out, although I do have to agree, 75 HP at level 4 is quite good.
I know we've had some seeds this week already that didn't have that much at level 16, so... And we have our first Dragon Lord 2 breathing monsters of the seed in the Drolls. The armor does defend against that, so you notice they only did 44 damage rather than the 65 to 72 they would do without the armor. But nonetheless, it's an unpleasant feeling at the moment.
And it's definitely enough to send Cyberdark back to circle around the castle, stay in that Zone 0 and Zone 1s a little bit longer, trying to find the optimal place to gain his first couple more levels.
It is definitely always the battle to fight when you're when you've got a seed like this, especially when you have the armor and a lot of hit points and a heal spell. Do I sit here and keep grinding to make myself be able to kill more things more easily, or do I go ahead and get out there and start exploring to see if I can find something breaking? Now, one of the things you're trying to get that's going to break the seed open is find the armor or the sword, and obviously we've already got the armor, so it's less important to get out as quickly as possible. We also already have the stones and harp, which in and of itself is quite amazing. Half of our homework is already done.
Absolutely, and with that level 5 brings us to 50 agility at level 5, so high HP, high agility, so it looks like neither of our runners will have much of an advantage in the alternate category that they took based on their name. That Drakima Cyberdark saw earlier, I think he might be trying to find more of those.
Meanwhile, YakkoWakko does come across a cave that we have yet to see, and it turns out to be Swamp North. So what's nice here is he can actually backdoor into the castle and buy more keys.
Absolutely, huge advantage for him, especially if he is able to get back to Cantlin, get those coordinates in there close.
It's a very rare circumstance that you get when when he accidentally walked out. I assume it was an accident at least, but he knows how to get back there when he's looking for keys.
Now, if it was Cyberdark doing that, I'd say he was doing it for the memes, but I don't know YakkoWakko well enough to make a statement like that.
What you'll see here is that on YakkoWakko's side, he is doing this chip damage to a wolf, but meanwhile the wolf, well, I say that right before he gets an excellent move, but the wolf is doing chip damage to him because they are defense breaking the wolf, and what that means is once your defense is at or above an enemy's... Oh, that's rude. The wolf with heal more. But once your defense stat is at or above an enemy's attack power, the damage formula changes, and they tend to do a whole lot less, or they will do a lot less damage, up to and including 0 on a given swing. And so you can, even though he was only doing 3 or 4 damage, he could wear that monster down, of course, assuming he didn't have heal more, which he did.
Absolutely. As well as they coded the rest of this cartridge, you think that once our damage got high enough, they just start healing us with their hits. But fortunately, they did plan for that, and our runners will still have to plan to take damage on their way down, even if they're damage breaking. Although the other benefit that damage breaking gives is that if you have the repel spell or fairy water active, it will prevent those enemies encountering you wherever you happen to be, including dungeons. As one of the randomizer flex we have enabled is enable that repel spell in dungeons. And we have our first AK-47 sighting on YakkoWakko20 side.
So far, it looks like they've just got Punch more, which with an Arbor Knight is still a pretty vicious attack. But when you're seeing enemies like this, you're always hoping they don't have sleep or DL2 breath, because you're likely going to be experiencing them on your Sharlock dive. And once your defense gets high enough, you can withstand a few swings from an Arbor Knight, but that DL2 breath isn't going to get any weaker.
Yeah, Urgic's armor does mitigate some of the breath damage. However, it's still just a flat damage no matter how much defense you have, and can still pack quite a punch. Magicians have heal as well, first time I'm seeing that. And the breath. The green dragon, the other dragon breath, not the DL2 breath. It's much weaker, and actually, it's almost nice to see in this randomizer sometimes on the harder hitting enemies. Although on a magician, you'd rather them just do trivial damage to you anyways.
Had a little mishap there, and I thought we'd just gotten hurt more, and I was thinking everything had just blown wide open, but hurt more has not quite hit yet.
No, it has not, and YakkoWakko20 has refound the swamp cave, is heading back down, and will soon have access to all the keys that he can carry, which is 6.
And now we're seeing Cyberdark loading up on fairy water to throw at some of these mid-tier monsters. It's possible, I know he's run into a Droll Magi somewhere around the castle, and that would be a really nice enemy to throw some fairy waters at, but instead he's going to go explore this cave nearby, and we'll see what that's got to offer us. And YakkoWakko does now have his keys.
And we have a tablet cave sighting for Cyberdark86.
Now what's really nice is that we already have the outside spell, and so he's only going to have to spend half the time in this cave, as he would ordinarily have to spend.
Yup, and we have a Warlock sighting on YakkoWakko as he makes his way back to Cantland. I imagine he's going to go straight for those coordinates and see if it's somewhere close that he can count without having to save the princess.
And we find the token in the tablet cave, so we have already found all 3 key items. All that's left, and so if there are any search spots available, they are now limited to the death necklace, the sword, and the flute. And at this point, any if they can find the staff trade-in cave, they can go ahead and get the staff, and then if they can find the jerk, they can get the drop, and they could go ahead for a Sherlock dive. Obviously, that's ill-advised at level 6, but it's a possibility.
And as soon as he is talking to this old man, which I did not catch those coordinates, it kind of...
There were no coordinates. He told us to go forward and fight. So that's at least one search spot that's not occupied in this scene.
Excellent. But Cyberdark86 has found the town of Romalder. He's loaded himself up with some keys. Unfortunately, there's no item shop to purchase more herbs or anything, but having just visited Cantland, he should be loaded on those. Also in Romalder, behind these 2 doors, there's a chest, and unfortunately it is empty. Probably an herb, given that he's already full on herbs.
And the Ribaldar weapon shop appears to be of very little value, so this will likely be the last time Cyberdark makes an appearance in this town, unless he needs an inn.
Or he runs out of keys.
Now that's the wrong trade-in guy to find first, but that is who we will get the rainbow drop from. We call it in the community the Jerk, as if you walk in there without Erdrick's token, he will quite forcefully eject you from his cave, in a very rude manner.
That he does. And YakkoWakko20 coming across the town of Romalder right now, coming at it from a different direction, as they both found the Jerk Cave at roughly the same time. Cyberdark86 finding this Wraith, which is a nice target for the level he's at right now. He is chipping away at it.
And another monster with heal. After all that time.
After all those fairy waters. Gets away from the Star Wyvern, and he's running back. I believe this is right about where the Swamp North is, so he's going to get that information. Looks like this single continent must have some looping paths in it, allowing your runners to get to different places coming from different directions. And I believe this is another cave on YakkoWakko20 side.
Yeah, I believe this is the tablet cave that Cyberdark found going the opposite direction in this loop we've got going on here. So it's going to make tracking what's going on the map a little more difficult, as everything seems to... there seems to be many ways to get to many different places.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Sometimes the randomizer will create one large landmass with water surrounding it. Sometimes it'll create more of an archipelagic mass where you have lots of little islands connected by small bridges, and this one may be more atoll-like in structure. Interesting to see. I'd like to see what this map is at the end, if anyone can look at the seed and see what it looks like. And Beta Strep, I'm like, so Kigal says the strength is just abysmal, and Beta Strep does say the seed has to hold back something, because it seems to be giving our runners pretty much everything else they need, including a lot of agility, a pretty good amount of hit points, as well as all the items right there.
I'm gonna make the bold claim that this is the fastest anybody this week has managed to acquire all 3 key items. Or that both players have managed to acquire all 3 key items.
I would agree with that. I haven't seen every race, but that definitely is a claim worthy of making, because we're up 20 minutes in. We have 3 items. All we need to do is find the staff cave. We know where the jerk cave is. And somewhere along that way, get about another 70 strength.
And now we have another little slap fight going on between Cyberdark and the werewolf, or the wolf lord, I mean, as trying to get it down. Let's just hope this one does not have some more a healing spell behind its talent pool. And at least if it did, we didn't see it, and Cyberdark gets that lovely 52 experience.
Yeah, Wolflord is, especially one without any special abilities, is kind of a nice find right now. With the agility plus Erdrick's armor, they're defense breaking pretty much every non-Sharlock enemy. Unfortunately, the werewolf is one of those, but he is able to get away from it. That high of an agility, they're going to be able to run from most non-Sharlock enemies for pretty much this entire seed. Green Dragon does block him.
Yeah, they're now favorites to run from everything short of a Red Dragon and Armored Knight at this point. And maybe Stone Man, I'm not sure, but at least a Red Dragon and Armored Knight are the 2 I know they don't quite have, but a Blue Dragon and anything below that, they are already substantial favorites to run from.
Yeah, Stonemen, surprisingly, for as lack of an agility as they would seem to have, they are surprisingly good at blocking the runs.
So we just got another enormous HP gain on Cyberdark's side, and at level 7 they have 106 hit points. That's again quite substantial. The nice thing is, of course, they don't have the strength to match it, but it's one of those things that if you don't have a heal more spell, if you have enough hit points, you can often damage race the higher level monsters, so you can kill them rather than try to have to run from them, like a Red Dragon or whatnot. But you usually need more than 33 attack power to do that, as I don't think you're going to be getting roughly 150 swings on a Red Dragon before it kills you.
I don't know, they do have a nice amount of defense right now. And we have Cyberdark86 checking the Spark over tile, finds nothing there.
But has validated the seed nonetheless.
Absolutely. Finds a Spectre, another great target. Yeah, the Druid Lord seems like a good call as well. Maybe he's worried about any special abilities it would have, because even with 106 hit points and the heal spell, deal 2 breath or a wombo combo or something could put a pretty fast end to this exploration.
We're seeing hurt from the werewolves there, which is something nice to see from a Sharlock monster.
Absolutely. This is, I'm not going to call it a jet seed, but it's definitely been a more forgiving seed than some of the others. YakkoWakko seems to be going in a circle on this one part of the island. He's gone past that tablet cave a few times, and he runs into the AK-47.
But with that 68 agility, manages to still escape. Meanwhile, Cyberdark, there is a town hiding over on the left side of his screen. Oh, and there is a town on the left side of YakkoWakko's screen too. So
I believe that's Cantlin on YakkoWakko's side.
Oh, I see. Yeah, but we've got Garanham on Cyberdark's side.
No large shield, but nothing else he wants to buy. But he does have keys, so we're going to see what's behind here. Given what we've seen thus far, we've seen pretty much everything except for...
I believe he only has one key at this point in time, so I think he's probably opting not to use it up. I don't know whether or not it'd be faster to use it up and then go back to Rimildar, or but I think the idea my guess is they have not seen the mountain cave, they have not seen the grave yet. They know there is gold in the treasury, and I'm wondering if he's potentially thinking gold grind, and the gold grind won't be possible if he doesn't have the magic key to open the treasury door. So he may be thinking, before I want to go check those back caves, I want to get enough money or I want to get another key so I can trigger that gold grind.
Very true. Kind of a gamble on his part then. As Beta Strip mentions, that the sword might be in Garanham, and it is probably one of the most important items to pick up right now, because the sword would help them greatly overcome the strength deficit they have. And until they get hurt or hurt more, they're not going to be doing a whole lot of damage. Beta Strut making the bold claim that first to sword wins this race. I'm going to counter with the first person to kill the Dragon Lord wins this race, but maybe I just don't have enough of an imagination.
Well, you know, they don't have the return spell yet, so technically speaking, I have seen it before when the first person to kill the Dragon Lord does not win the race, as they have to make the Walk of Shame back to the castle while the other person uses the wings.
And with our experienced runners, I imagine they'd be smart enough to pick up a set of wings if they don't have the return spell yet. But stranger things have happened.
Cyberdark spending about a minute fighting this Droll Magi, long enough to get the nice 58 experience. And this is kind of becoming a trend here.
And luckily, at these low levels... Oh, I'm going to stop talking and mention that we have found coal. And on the search tile, we have the Death Necklace, which is probably going to be active in this seed. I don't know why, but I think that's going to be a thing.
Now, something that is on the table with their ridiculously low strength is you could actually grind that search spot for the Flame Sword. And I don't know that I think it would, I don't know if I think it would be worth it or not, but it is a possibility up there. You have to open it up about 80 times, I think, in order to get there. But you could grind that Flame Sword out.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Beta Strip says 3 minutes. He probably knows better than me. Seems reasonable. But a 3-minute deficit to get 28 attack power instead of the 10 that the Copper Sword has seems reasonable.
Yeah, they'd literally be more than doubling their attack power, or at least doubling their attack power would be more than doubling their strength if they did that. So that's definitely something that's on the table there. And we have our Sherlock sighting on Cyberdark's side.
So as soon as he finds the Staff of Rain, trades it in the Silver Heart for that staff, and goes back to the Jerk, he will be able to use the Rainbow Drop to build a bridge to Charlock. And not much else back behind there. So we've seen Garenham, we've seen Cole, we've seen Romalder, we've seen Cantlin. Have we seen Breckenary? I'm not sure if we care. We've actually seen most of this map with the exception of the Grave and the Mountain Cave.
Yeah, we're missing Breckenary, we're missing the Jerk, and I think that's it, other than what you mentioned. Oh, and Hawksness. Not Jerk, Staff Cave, that's what I meant to say.
Yep.
I do have to say, it's been a long time since I've watched someone consistently defeating Wolf Lords and Droll Magi doing 3 to 4 damage at a time. That is not a common occurrence.
It is definitely a statistical anomaly, that is for sure. And so YakkoWakko has his level 7. We'll get that pretty big boost in HP, not quite as big as Cyberdark. We're starting to see that divergence now in that HP. 98 versus, I believe it was 106 for Cyberdark at level 7. So the difference is starting to grow. That being said, both those stats are so high that it probably won't make a difference. We might actually see damage breaking some high-end Charlock enemies if they are able to pick up one of those silver shields.
Now we do have Stop Spell at this point in time, which allows us to take those tiny little chip damages and do that to more enemies, like the Druid Lord, who has Sleep and Hurt. We also do have Return, so there will be no Walks of Shame.
This is almost comical. I'm really enjoying watching our runners do things that you would normally never see. As we see our first Charlock sighting, our only Charlock sighting, excuse me. Cyberdark going to go check and see what's on the mini-boss tile. Declines to fight the Droll. Not surprising.
Again, with that amazing agility, able to get past an Armored Knight. Now, this is one you're going to have to throw a Stop Spell out at because you're not going to be able to do the chip damage. Even the Excellent Move is going to be pathetic. But we see the Hurt more there, so if they can throw a Stop Spell... never mind. Not even with the Stop Spell do you want to try this. Oh, and we have Sleep, too. What fun.
So, oh, and he continued his attack. He may just be taking the death ward back at this point, as we see our 6th death overall for this seed. Quite surprising. 33 minutes in, 6 deaths total.
Yeah, especially given that they haven't been just fighting a bunch of easy enemies, but they've been dealing with a lot of really tough ones, you know, Charlock level enemies, but because of this ridiculous agility, they're able to get away from those battles. And meanwhile, we are seeing Cyberdark load up on keys. My guess is he's going to book it right back to Garenham and see what he can get behind that locked door.
The way things have been going, I imagine there's going to be the sword there in the staff trading cave. Sword in behind the door and staff trading cave behind the town.
Sounds about right to me. Now, Cyberdark, I don't think realizes that this is a one continent yet, so he just took the back of the castle to the swamp cave in order to check out what's on the quote-unquote second continent. He will get his bearings pretty soon, but at the moment he is exploring what he believes is a new continent. There's always that moment in the one continent seed where you are walking around and you see a new town and you're like, all right, a new town, and then you walk in and it's a town you've already been to before. You just kind of have to do that double take and pause and think, wait, what just happened here? Before you finally realize that the single continent
Certainly entertaining for both runner and commentator and viewer.
There's always that, like, 5-frame pause that happens when they enter that town before they start moving along and doing things on it.
Yes, Super Bass, this is definitely one of those seeds. High agility, Beta Strip mentioning that yes, it is going to be tough to reuse the spell of Repel effectively, since at this point, with your low strength and lack of damage-dealing spells, there's really not much out there that you can take out that you aren't repelling.
Yeah, at this point I think you've got, like, Knights, Magiwyverns, Demon Knights, that are non-Charlock enemies that you're not repelling. There may be something else in there I'm missing, but it's not much more than that. And so there's a whole lot of... And you're not taking down any of those with your 38 attack power.
No, you are not. And Cyberdark just had his surprise as he walked into the tablet cave, used the torch, and now is wandering around, I imagine, like you mentioned, trying to find the town of Garenham. But finds Cantlin instead.
And I assume is going to go check the coordinates right now.
The old man must have a lot of faith if he's telling someone with 38 attack power that they must go fight. YakkoWakko. Oh, sorry.
So he just nopes right out of Hawksness when he goes in there, realizing there is nothing good that he checks the spell list. Is there anything I can do to deal damage? Nope. Alright, I'm out.
Given enough fairy water, you may be able to bring it down eventually, but that's going to be a toughie.
I'm not sure there's enough fairy water you could get in your inventory for that.
Not while they still have those key items in there, especially. Because after you trade in for the Rainbow Drop, you effectively lose items in your inventory that were taking up space and now are not. In fact, for the final Dragon Lord, they will have a lot of open space, especially if they don't find the Fairy Flute.
Yeah, and for a blue dragon, if you max rolled, I think you could kill a blue dragon on 5 fairy waters. So I'm not sure they have room for that, given that they have the harp, stones, tort, token, and or at least YakkoWakko has the death necklace.
Well, that's right. Cyberdark86 has not found the town of Cole yet. I imagine he's going to do that soon. We'll see if he does the grind that YakkoWakko neglected to do when he found it.
It is definitely a lesser... it's very rare that you have the opportunity for that gold grind to be worthwhile, and you don't see it a whole lot, because, I mean, it's... having the death necklace in a search spot is a relatively new addition, as in it was put in the randomizer last year, so for the first several years that was not a possibility. And so a lot of people are not aware that you can indeed just keep searching that spot, and it's like you're opening that death necklace chest over and over and over again. So we'll see if Cyberdark wants to do it, we'll see if it even thinks about it, because it's not something that necessarily will come to your mind immediately in a situation like that. I've grinded it sometimes for like a large shield or something like that, where I only had to open it a few times, but for a flame sword, do you think that's going to be worth it? We'll see.
Yeah, broadsword, I've actually done that before, but never anything more expensive than that. Yeah, grinding for that flame sword would be the big brain move that might break this seed wide open. Having the flame sword effectively doubling your strength. So you have 56 attack power instead of just the 28 from your strength. You'll be able to actually do damage to some of these enemies you otherwise wouldn't be able to, such as this, maybe not the Axe Knight, but definitely being able to kill things, and not just kill things, but kill things faster. So instead of taking 10 rounds of combat to take down Wolflord, it only takes 5, and you can make up the 3 minutes that you use to get the Flame Sword in the first place rather quickly that way.
Yeah, definitely. I think earlier we mentioned that he'd spent about a minute fighting that Droll Magi to get that one level, and it would take 2-3 swings to kill that thing with the Flame Sword. And so, just by that few Droll Magi fights, you've made up all your grind time. So it definitely would be the right play here.
Cyberdark is back in Garenham, immediately going back to check these chests. I stand by. Let's see that sword. Nope, it's the wings.
Well, and that's another reason you go ahead and burn that key, because you never know if there's going to be a key behind it as well. So all that time he went away from it, he could have been back here and still had his key.
Very nice.
Well, you're half right at least.
But we still haven't found Mountain or Garen's grave, so plenty of places for that sword to be hiding other than Charlock.
Yeah, and interestingly, we haven't found a cursed belt either, and we already know that there is one empty location, so there will be at least one cursed belt, but, we're running out of things to be behind the Hawksness tile, too, so, especially when there's that many other chests out there, it'll be interesting to see if they even need to go down there, because, of course, if you find the sword behind the Hawksness tile, how you're killing that monster, is an interesting question, but if you find the sword behind the Hawksness tile, there is no need to even dip your head in either of those dungeons, unless you are doing so to attempt to set up a gold grind.
Unfortunately, to get behind that, given that it's a blue dragon, it's going to be tough doing that without a flame sword or a significant amount of strength. Hurtmore, you can hit the blue dragon with the Hurtmore spell, but it's a little bit more difficult, less common.
Yeah, it's a 7 out of 16 resist for the blue dragon, and but the dragon, this blue dragon, if I recall correctly, has sleep and Hurtmore, and so you can stop spell it and give yourself a chance to miss several Hurtmores and still get him down, where MP is really your limiting factor rather than how quickly he's going to try to kill you.
And I believe we have max 9/16 stop spell resist, so being able to hit it with the stop spell is definitely a possibility as well. And Cyberdark is doing it. He's going to go back, and he is going straight to the end.
My guess is he'll check the weapon shop next to see if... I don't know, with only 120 gold, he may think it's not worth it to check this, not thinking about the gold grind he can set up. But since he hasn't seen a silver shield yet, he might go ahead and check that out. Nope. Just going straight on out, so he doesn't even have the opportunity to give himself that play, because he doesn't have the knowledge to do so. Which, I mean, he doesn't have knowledge of the flame sword being in the town to make it worthwhile to make it worthwhile to grind.
At this point, if you get the rainbow drop, do you go into Charlock? With this much agility and this much defense, it may almost be beneficial to look for the sword in there. It's not likely to be in there, but it's definitely a possibility.
I mean, that's definitely an interesting thought, since you know where Charlock is, and rather than trying to go through the rest of this world to find it. And if you do make that play and go in and find it, the chances that your opponent actually made that play as well are pretty low, and so it does give you a pretty nice edge. But at the same time, you could potentially still be grinding little monsters out here, and any dive into Charlock is going to be, minutes for the hope of being able to get all the way to the bottom, and having no experience to show for it.
And the unfortunate thing right now is 45 minutes in, with all that's happened, we're still only level 8, and neither of our runners are really close to level 9. It seems like they should buckle down somewhere with those 50-ish experience-giving enemies that they can chip down, and just bust it out.
Yeah, I think both of them are trying to think, well, let me see if they keep thinking about the sword or thinking about something they can use to, to blow the seed open, but at this point, the thing you may have to blow the seed open is going to be Hurtmore, which you're going to need to grind for. Yeah, it's incredibly rare. It's not rare to see, 2 racers at level 8, 45 minutes in when the seed is particularly brutal, but it's really rare to see them at level 8, 45 minutes in, and yet only having a combined 6 deaths. So it's not like the seed is, beating them up. They just can't beat up the seed either.
They cannot, and it seems like Cyberdark has taken my advice. There's skeletons here, a specter. Not a lot of experience, but definitely for the strength they have, doable, and a steady progression to level 9.
I like that lurk on there, whatever the opposite of a glass cannon is. Isn't that just a tank? Don't actually do a lot of damage, but you don't take any either.
Yeah, fortunately, or unfortunately, this game only has one character, so the tank class is less effective. Cyberdark, just 81 experience away from the next level, a little bit closer now. Fairwater would definitely be a good thing if they're closer to Cantlin. You can go pick some up. It may speed up some of this combat. Arbor Knight, unfortunately, blocking the way for YakkoWakko. Let's see, he is able to get away.
Yeah, that's the thing that usually gets people early in the seed is the Blue Dragons, Armored Knights, those kind of those Sherlock monsters that you can't really do anything about, and so you die every time you walk into one of their zones. But with this agility, they're just running away from everything like that anyway, so they're keeping their survivability going.
Cyberdark86 picking up level 9, and we have 3, 6, 2, 18 mana. One thing I was about to mention...
But Hurtmore!
Oh, nice. Yeah, they... in addition to their strength, their MP was quite low, but now with that MP gain, much better position. I definitely think their MP will be where it needs to be by the time they get the strength. Unfortunately, we may be here for a while waiting for them to get that strength.
Now, if I'm in Cyberdark's shoes, I think the first thing I do is book it straight to Hawksness and try to take out that blue dragon to see if I can get the sword. Because if you can do that, you're done, and you can literally just grind to go to Sherlock.
Absolutely. And you can grind right there in Hawksness.
And he's going to waste no time throwing Hurtmores on these Armored Knights in his way.
48 minutes to get to level 9, and it's going to be substantially faster for the rest of the seed, I think.
Yeah, again, having already had all the homework done at this point, so while it's so brutal to get off the ground there, they're suddenly in grind and go mode if they find the sword here. I will say this is one of the more unique seeds I've ever come across.
Unique is one way of putting it. Alright, goes straight for the Hurtmore, doesn't go for the stop spell first. Surprising.
Yeah, I don't know if he remembered that it had those spells or not, but no, he's still going for the Hurtmores. And unfortunately, that coin flip is coming up the wrong direction.
Ooh, 3 in a row.
Now YakkoWakko just hit level 9 as well, and I know he's he got into Hawkson's and he just noped right out, doesn't know it's there. I imagine he'll probably make a similar play to try to get there as quickly as possible and see if he can find the sword. I definitely would try to throw a stop spell or two at the blue dragon, if nothing else, just to gauge what the resistance is. Because if you throw 2 and they both miss, then you're like, you know what, it's not worth my time to keep trying to stop spell and let's just go with the hurt mores. But if it's going to land every time, you're better off throwing a stop spell, and then your survivability is going to be greater over the long run.
And
we are 1 out of 1 on stop spell. The very first attempt when Cyberdark fought the blue dragon, he landed the first stop spell, which is why the battle lasted like 20 years before the blue dragon finally slashed him down.
now there is a spike tile with a mini boss on it in the swamp cave. I do not believe we've seen that one yet, but if it's a more hurt-moreable target, like an Axe Knight, might be something good that Cyberdark's looking for right now.
That's a great point.
As he walks past the swamp.
That was the tablet cave.
Oh, yes.
He's gonna go pick up his rainbow drop right here from the jerk and finish that portion of his homework. And just like that, he's 5 experience away from the next level.
Amazing what happens when you can do damage.
Yeah, doing damage is a very underrated skill.
Going back to... oh, going to the swamp cave.
Yeah, I'm not yeah, this is probably obviously going to be the faster way to go do that. You just keep dying, and they'll keep coming back to the king. The door will stay unlocked, and so you can throw whatever resources you have, and it's a whole lot faster than the walk to Hawksness afterwards, and a lot faster than the walk to the opposite side of Swamp Caves. So, if we find an Axe Knight and an Armored Knight here, I imagine Cyberdark will sit here for quite a while, and he's not going to even worry about blue dragons, or worry about weapons until his strength is pretty high up.
Or he's got substantial more MP to take more chances at hurt-moring that blue dragon.
And 5, but another 10 hit points.
Honestly, 59 MP is not a terrible amount for level 10. I think we're spoiled right now by seeing the greens in agility and HP.
And as far as I know, we've seen a few Axe Knights, and we haven't seen any skills from them yet. So that makes this about as perfect as you can possibly get for a grind. And so Cyberdark's probably going to camp here. Well, I mean, for a good long while, you want to go at least long enough to give yourself a chance to. Oh, they do have heal. All right. Not something you're really going to worry about too much most of the time, because you can usually swing through that when you're grinding Axe Knights. Today, maybe not so much. You may have to just double hurt more when that happens.
Or you can just kill it in the first shot. He is 1 away from... he's probably just taking the death warp at this point. Or he's getting, searching for the excellent hit, although without 46 AP, will not be enough to kill him once he gets 2 excellent crits.
Slowest death warp ever. This is amazing.
At least he doesn't have to worry about fiddling with his dragon scale. He can just swing away.
He's doing 1 and 2 damage, and it's taken 7 hits to kill. I think the sea has broken me.
So there you go, folks. If you're wondering how much AP you needed to swing at an Axe Knight for 1 to 2 damage, 46 is your answer. Oh yeah, if he had the silver shield right now, so he's missing out on a substantial amount of defense. Oh, wow.
I mean, realistically, though, we joke about that right now from the death standpoint, but if it comes down to it, and we're still trying to get that extra strength, if someone grinds for the Silver Shield, that is a boost of 16 defense over what they have right now, which would be 92 defense power for YakkoWakko, and would be 89 defense for Cyberdark, which would be enough to be defense breaking everything Green Dragons and below. 94 is the threshold for Axe Knights, though, and if you can get to an Axe Knight grind where they can't do damage to you, you can milk that for a long, long time.
Yes, there's those modded games here, someone who can calculate the XP per hour, because that would be an interesting experiment.
So YakkoWakko is now here in Hoxus trying to take out the Blue Dragon and gets a double hit. Goes 2 out of 2 on landing it and finds nothing. Now, unfortunately, this is really one of those interesting situations where the only things we haven't found yet are Brecconary, which, you know, who cares, but also the Mountain Cave and the Grave. Although there's some strength on Cyberdark's side. 21 attack power, bringing them up to middling. But there is not having, you know, those 10 locations on the overworld explored. How much do you want to bank on what's in Charlock? And the biggest problem being, you're not really going to get enough money for the flame sword otherwise. So unless you're ready to go in with the broadsword, you're going to have to find one of those caves to set up a gold grind. Or, the other thing you could do, and this is actually something that I would consider doing now that I think about it, is you could actually dive into Charlock, try to find the sword. If you don't find it, then you can trigger, if you don't find it in the armory, you can actually trigger the gold grind from the death in Charlock, and use that to get your flame sword and silver shield, and then go and grind until you have enough strength to take out the Dragonlord with the flame sword and never have to worry about trying to find the other caves.
I don't know. The 12 additional attack power from the big stick over the flame sword is something that may be necessary. Yes, we did get a pretty substantial, I believe, 21 strength gain this last level, but there's no guarantee that the next ones will be as good. But then again, we saw multiple 20-plus gains in HP early on as well, so anything's possible. I guess they call it random.
YakkoWakko's going to upgrade to his large shield at least, so he'll now be damage breaking up to wizards. Which again, if you do want to go hunting for a cave to get that stuff, you probably want to do it now, because it's going to be hard to death warp anywhere other than Charlock at this point if you want to set up a grind for a better weapon or the silver shield. And Cyberdark gains another 20 hit points.
So at what point do you put the death necklace on just right now? I'm kidding. That's not... Oh!
Well, if you're fighting red dragons or golems or something like that, you might think about it, but given that you can hurt more of these things, the death necklace isn't offering you a whole lot in terms of making the grind faster. It's also making it a lot more difficult because you'd be thrown out of the castle here cursed and you'd have to go in the other entrance to the swamp cave.
Oh, yes. Now, here's the question. If you go into the castle from the back entrance, can you bypass the curse that the death necklace gives you in that regard?
That is a great question. I do not know the answer to that. I wonder if anybody in chat does.
Doubles for day with this HP, absolutely, especially combined with the high defense that they have. Once Cyberdark gets a good shield, he'll have a substantial amount of agility, or armor, and even more so for YakkoWakko. I think it just checked Y, so you get kicked out walking upwards from stairs.
Okay.
Possibly, but as we know, at the end of the game, if you walk around, in the vanilla game, that second set of stairs on the left side of the castle, the west side of the castle, and that entrance doesn't exist. There's only the one set of stairs. So when you end the game, you walk straight up, and the in-game sequence triggers when you're on one of the two tiles between the guards in front of the king. If you walk in the other entrance to the throne room and go back around, you can actually speak to the king, who treats you as if he was one of the guards. And you will not trigger the end sequence until you step onto one of those two tiles. So it could be that the trigger is when you step foot inside of the castle, either in front of the king or walking in the front entrance. I don't know. Maybe we'll find out.
Well, certainly we could do the homework pretty easily offline after this if we wanted to, since we have this very nice seed to set us up for doing exactly that.
I don't know. I don't want to spend that long grinding to get the strength necessary to even get to that point.
Well, you don't actually need strength. You've got the agility, right, to get anywhere. You just go to Cole, grab the death necklace, and then go in the back of the swamp cave.
Go to Cole, grind for the gold to get the flame sword, and then do it. But already we're seeing the difference that 74 defense is doing. Axe Knight is not doing a whole lot of damage. Those Hurtmore's taking them out more often than not. Otherwise, one last swing. Finally has sufficient strength and AP to take him out.
And the nice thing about the Armor Knight doing less damage, even though, he's continually taking deaths and whatever, it's that, every time you don't have to use 2 heal mores, you get 3 hurt mores out of that. So the longer you can go this entire gauntlet, use all of your magic points without having to use any heal mores. Right now, if he has to use 1 heal more with the MP he has, he's lost out on 2 hurt mores he can throw at Axe Knights. So you will grind faster with more hit points, even though those don't actually directly correlate to the damage. And more defense.
And I think we accidentally got a little bit of a snapshot of what level 14 will look like. Spoiler, I think there's going to be more hit points. Not sure if Cyberdark's going to be able to get to level 14 in this round, but should be pretty early in the next go-round, and with substantially more MP this time, so not only will he get 14, but possibly 15 as well.
So I'm curious at this point what YakkoWakko is looking at or thinking at. I mean, he's obviously going around hurtmoring everything, gaining a nice experience in the process, but is he searching for the mountain and or grave, or is he just trying to find an external spot to grind because he's not aware of what the spike tile in the swamp cave is, and therefore doesn't know where to grind?
I imagine he's probably looking for the sword in the grave somewhere. Grave, mountain cave, one of those two places. He also has his rainbow drop. We'll see if any of our runners make a dive into Charlock first. With the amount of agility they have, should be pretty easy to get through down to those 7 chests and find out once and for all. And in the meantime, kill some things on the way, get the next level. Maybe that's what Cyberdark is looking to do right now.
Yeah, I think at this point, again, if you're wanting to set up a gold grind, look for the sword and also set up a gold grind for either the flame sword or the silver shield. You want to do it now before you become too robust to not be able to death warp.
Yeah, fortunately, the hurt more that the blue dragon has is going to be able to send him back. So if they do make it into Charlock and they find a blue dragon, a red dragon, an armor knight, there's still plenty of enemies that will make mincemeat of them pretty quickly.
Well, in Charlock, the nice thing is that at the worst case scenario, you have a spike monster that you can either grind until you're ready to take on the Dragon Lord or until it kills you. So you at least have some way to guarantee, something that you're not going to be just kind of waiting forever for the right monster to show up. That you can find a spike tile that's going to be one of 6 monsters that is going to be capable of killing you eventually. But yeah, I definitely think that's the play now, is because you've got these Hurtmores, you can take out all the Charlock monsters, is to just dive Charlock, look for the sword, and if it fails, then, go from there. But there's no real good reason to search out the other caves, when, statistically speaking, if you're going to pick one of the 3, you've got more chests in Charlock that it could possibly be at.
And thanks to Cornhusker in chat, I kind of want tacos. But yes, I was actually thinking of the Death Warp using the Dragon Lord himself, and because no matter how high your defense gets, he still is going to hit quite hard, and maybe we'll see it right here on the YakkoWakko side.
Yeah, look at that. He's going to go check Charlock for the sword. Or he's just opening up the bridge. I mean, I'm not sure right now he has the resources. No, he does have the resources to make that dive, so just decided to go ahead and get that opening of the bridge over with. So I'm having trouble figuring out what it... I think YakkoWakko may just be wandering around out here trying to get experience, because I'm pretty sure he's explored this area to the northwest of Charlock already before. And, well, no, he's throwing out repels out there, which is going to knock out most monsters. So, I don't know. I mean, you've also got to consider that at this point, because your defense is so high, the Silver Shield offers a lot in terms of the actual Charlock dive. You can defense break a lot of enemies, and you can repel them, so that the dive itself is faster without having to, because you're taking fewer encounters, especially if it's a nice Charlock.
Absolutely. 10 more defense will bring him to 93, and once he gets to the same level as Cyberdark, he'll probably have 7 additional agility, so 89, which will bring him up to 94? I mean, you might be damage breaking Axe Knights at that point.
Yeah, that's the point you damage break Axe Knights, so yeah, if YakkoWakko gets the silver and gets to level 14, he can just... I mean, he could literally just swing endlessly at Axe Knights and grind, for an eternity without having to stop. Cyberdark now actually checking the shop in Kull, so he knows there is a flame sword and a silver shield there, so we'll see if that affects his plans from this point. He may be wondering about, what do I need to grind for, or is there a purpose of grinding if I go into Charlock? Or maybe he's looking for a broadsword to double his damage, or double his weapon power.
Heading back to the Blue Dragon.
Oh, I missed that he hadn't done this again yet, so he'll make quick work of this thing this time around. And will be quite disappointed.
I don't know if I'd call 180 experience disappointing, but yes, the lack of an item underneath would be. Especially since you're hunting for that sword.
Well, we're 1 of 2 of stop spells now, so I think he's, or I guess, 2 of 3, because I just saw YakkoWakko did land 1, so... Who knows what the chances are.
Yeah, the standard deviation on that one is, looking at a 2/3 hit rate, plus or minus 33%.
and Cyberdark is done with those blue dragons. No interested in continuing this. Again, YakkoWakko coming here, I think, to grind, but does not know that there's the better grind in the Swamp Cave with the Axe Knights.
And he does get his level 13, so substantially more hit points, and also that MP gain as well. So the next time he comes here or goes to the Swamp Cave, he'll be able to sit there for a while. With 83 defense, even without the Silver Shield, it's going to be a long, long grind.
Datastrip makes a good point. At this point, you're better off just wandering back and forth in the Hawksness zone because of the other monsters that are there than actually fighting the Hawksness grind tile.
And Guelph35 coming in. For those of you who weren't here in the beginning, we did notice that YakkoWakko20 has named his character L, and Cyberdark86 has named his character R, so left and right as appropriate. Although if anyone is here on a ship, unfortunately, they did not name their characters P and S, so it doesn't work in that regard. Port and starboard, just a nautical joke. Thank you, Kamian. Thank you.
UND when we get a new layout. Or I guess we could theoretically, if we did a four-way stream, you could do like TL, TR, BL, and BR. You know?
NW, NE, SW, SE. Oh, the possibilities are endless. The only thing that's like impossible right now is getting enough strength.
So Cyberdark is making that dive into Charlock, starting with a low amount of MP, so it kind of surprises me that he didn't at least refill his stats, but he is going to make that Charlock dive and see what he can do, or if he can find that sword. There is always the question of whether you go to vanilla or not. In this circumstance, I would say you do, because you absolutely want to know if there is another location to check. If otherwise, you know, if you knew it had to be in Charlock, you could go ahead and check the treasury, and if you didn't get it, you'd say, okay, well, I'll just pick up the sword when I'm on my way down, since I don't really need it to grind. But in this situation, you need to know if you need to go somewhere else, and beyond which, you know, if in the worst case scenario, as I was saying earlier, if you want to grind the flame sword, you want to get the 6 treasures in the treasury before you die, so that you can trigger that gold grind.
Definitely. No, I'm not. Surprisingly, I don't have enough of a math background to see what the difference is, but it's definitely faster to go to the vanilla sword location and then down to the chamber than it is to go down to the treasury at the lower level and then back up to where the vanilla sword location is. But is the difference fast enough that your expectation value is higher going for the vanilla sword location first?
I actually, somewhere on Discord, have broken all of that down in the past. And the answer is, in general, there is never a time where your expectation is going to be better off going to vanilla first, in terms of, I guess, there is expected steps per check or whatever. But if you are trying to do a dive to the end and pick up something on your way, you generally are better, or are well served to go towards the vanilla first, because it doesn't hurt you that much in terms of expectation. Whereas if you are going just for an item, it makes more sense to go straight towards the treasury, because at least that way you have the information for your subsequent dive.
Absolutely, and
I'm
I
trying
don't
to do all this from memory. I do have it all broken down in this way too long post on Discord somewhere.
I would love reading that someday. The biggest issue is it's hard to objectively quantify the mean value of going to the judges' table first, which is what Cyberdark86 appears to be doing.
Yeah, in this particular situation, I think is absolutely the right. This is one of the few situations where I think it is objectively the right thing to do, since you need to make sure you open every chest in this place to know whether or not the sword is here. So I do appreciate him doing this, but it is just a nerf.
See, Lorgon states, the important thing is no matter what decision you make, it will turn out wrong. However, if both of our runners make different decisions, one of them will be right in this case. So, Mathgirl brings up the Death Necklace. Yeah, they are getting to the point where, with the sword and the Death Necklace, 1 or 2 more levels may be all that's needed.
Yeah, I mean, especially the other thing they don't have right now is the Fighter's Ring, and that, that's another 2 points which can be substantial. But if we look at, my chart right now says for 123 attack power, you want 20 swings, and given their HP even after the Death Necklace, with 12 heal mores, I would expect them to be able to get somewhere on the order of 16 to 17 swings. Now, if you throw Fairy Water into the mix, it's possible you could do it at this level. If you got up to 125, you'd have even better odds, but at the next level, it's very possible it could be go mode.
And Beta Strep, I don't think you can really have a Schrodinger sword since you can't determine if it's dead or alive regardless, even if you do observe it.
Well, there is our Erdrick sword, so that works out every way Cyberdark wanted it to, and now I'm going for the spike tile if I'm him, to go see to get the knowledge to see what's there. Have we seen anything particularly nasty on this dive?
No, and given their high agility, 82 agility means you are... I don't know if you're a favor to run away from the Armor Knights and the Red Dragons. However, you're definitely better off than if you didn't have 82 agility, although 82, like other numbers, is just an agility. Oh.
Yeah, I think the 50% point for Armored Knights is 86, and the 50% point for Red Dragons is 90. I'm not 100% on that. I think that's what it is, but regardless, it's putting you in the upper 40% to run, which is, when you got 160 HP, you can afford, a 50-50 shot, generally speaking. Unless you're one of our less fortunate runners who will successfully run fail 7 or 8 times.
Yeah, as my match earlier reminds you that, low probability just means you're going to do it over and over and over again until you get frustrated. But able to get this hurt more, pretty close. He may be able to swing. If it's an Axe Knight or some other soft enemy, like a Wizard's probably a great thing to swing at right now. Not going to do a whole lot of damage back to you, especially since you're damage breaking it. And maybe just walk around in here.
Yeah, if there happens to be an Axe Knight at the grind tile and he doesn't kill anything until that, then after 2 Axe Knights, he will have level 15 on the button. He will get, because he would be at, I think that's right, isn't it? No, that's not right either. Never mind. This is why you don't math on stream.
That's why I carry a calculator.
That's why I have a chart sitting beside me.
Oh, and it's the exact opposite. That's a golem. That's a quick trip back for him right now. Why is he swinging? Go back and kill those wizards. He may get one of them, but I doubt he'll get 2.
Well, I mean, the Axe Knight is 3 feet from the castle here, so he can go ahead and grab that level 15 real fast, even while doing the gold grind if he wants to, and not have to worry about it too much.
I wonder if he's going to go for the gold grind with the 81 defense. That's a little lower than you... Oh, no, he's not.
He is not thinking about the gold grind at all.
But
he
81...
He's going for the dive right now.
Absolutely, and 81 defense is typically lower than you would want. However, with 160 hit points, it's kind of a moot point.
The important thing to note with 81 defense, of course we'll see what the defense is when he gets to level 15, if that goes up at all, but at 81 defense, the Dragon Lord can hit you for 50, so you need to be aware of that when you're trying to heal more. If he gets 2 more agility, then that drops down to 49. I doubt he's going to get enough agility to drop that down to 48, but it's just, ordinarily when you're fighting the Dragon Lord, you tend to think 49 is safe, and 48 is when you need to heal more. But with the defense this low, you need to be aware of that going in, that you need to heal when you're at 50. And especially with this many hit points, you aren't going to be hurting to heal when you're at 50, so you just need to be aware of it to being an option.
And we're gonna get, oh wow.
And that's go mode.
Yeah, that's absolutely go mode right there.
Cyberdark will waste no time beelining toward Sherlock.
It's amazing that as low as our strength was in the beginning, we're still in go mode at level 15.
Of course, one of the reasons we're in go mode is because we have the death necklace, because our strength is still kind of our limiting factor here. At 124, you're still pushing it right now, even with 162 hit points. But with 134 attack power, you're down to needing 14 swings, and you've got 12 heal mores to work with, plus all the extra HP, counting for at least a double or two. You are good to go. And with 162, you're very unlikely to need to burn a heal more on your way down, given what we've seen from the Sherlock monster set so far.
Yeah, the first time that he went down, no trouble whatsoever, even going in with limited resources. Does get blocked by the Star Wyvern.
And chat making a great point. YakkoWakko has kept his experience lead up, so if he decides to say, hey, we're going to bank on the sword being in Sherlock, when he gets this next level, he will be, if something goes awry in Cyberdark's dive here, he very well could jump ahead and make it to the Dragon Lord first.
Got 2 minutes to level 15, but you also have to get to Charlock, and at this point, by the time he hits level 15, goes and restores his MP and heads towards Charlock, has to get to the bottom without using any of his MP, and he will have the lower NP, so although it is the same number of heal more, so it's not really a detriment at this point. It is a possibility. And there is that golem, and we do not have a fairy flute, so may need to have to burn a heal more to get through there. Although,
with 162 hit points, you can probably just survive him whacking you a few times.
Probably. Although, I believe he was at or close to a full hit points when he went after it the first time, and wasn't able to kill it without healing. But
that's true, but he has 11 attack power more than he did at that point in time, so maybe that decreases the number of rounds by 1 or 2.
Pretty much. So you'll need somewhere 12 to 13 swings on the Dragon Lord, depending on how well you do on your rolls. And he has, right now, I believe, 12 hurt more or heal mores in the tank. 11? 11.
He's got 12. Doesn't he? Oh, no, 11. You're right. Sorry, I was looking at his max. 11 heal mores in the tank. So if he uses, like, 2 more, he could potentially be putting himself in danger. But I think it would require 2 more to offset the doubles he's going to get from his hit points. And as we say that, an armored knight sits there and says, no, I don't want to let you pass. Now, if Cyberdark has any fairy water in his inventory, he might want to use it here, because this place is littered with wizards, which is the one Sherlock monster he would be defense breaking.
I don't think he does at this point. He never went back to get some more, I don't think. Could be wrong.
Of course, with an empty total of 95, a repel would also be pretty much harmless to use. I mean, I guess that takes away a heal you can use before you fight the Dragon Lord. But that's just, those are the options you have. You would be defense ranking those wizards, and they seem to be making quite the appearance here. YakkoWakko, on the other hand, did not decide to go towards Sharlock, and so I am actually curious as to what his thought process is in terms of what's he trying to grind to, or is he trying to see if maybe he can get a gigantic strength boost to make the broadsword viable, or does he just not feel like it's like he's comfortable with it regardless, and so he wants to go another level before he tries to throw caution to the wind? We'll have to see. But there, we've got 86 hit points left for Cyberdark after the golems, so he's in pretty good shape.
I think Harrison's got a pretty good point there. He's going to be able to just straight afford the flame sword right, well before he hits level 16. So it could be that he's just going for 16 and flame sword.
That's an excellent observation.
And we have Cyberdark86 starting his fight with the Dragon Lord's first form, putting on the Death Necklace as expected. Gets the jump on him, or correction, the Dragon Lord got the jump, got the hurt more off the second time, going for the herb strategies, trying to look for the stop spell instead of the hurt more, but looks like it's going to be fairly unlikely at this point. One more herb to bring it over 100, gets the hurt more, it's going to have to swing through, and we'll see if the Dragon Lord's second form gets the jump on him or not. It may make a difference right now with these totals.
Alright, we start off with a 10. He is currently doing, 8 to 17? So 10 being on the low end of the range. That takes us up to 21. $36, and we get a double attack, which is quite nice, and that takes us up to 45. $55. Rolling really low right now. 66, still rolling well below average on his 81, that's more like the kind of number you want to see. $91, still rolling low. $102. $112. He's rolling low, but I still think he's got himself covered here. He does know he needs to heal more at 49, which was very good. 126.
This may come down to whether the Dragon Lord is closer to the 150 side of his range or 165.
A well-timed 15 for 141. Well-timed 16 for 157, which makes this next one guaranteed to kill him. So, everybody get out your GGs for Cyberdark. And he has finished with an official racetime.gg time of 1 hour, 29 minutes, and 28 seconds. So the YakkoWakko, after getting the flame sword, has decided to start the dive. I don't know if that decision was made before or after seeing the GGs, if he is paying attention to the race stream at all, or if he's just saying, thinking he'll grind the level on his way down. I mean, at 122 attack power, with the Death Necklace, you're not gonna hit the range you need to defeat the Dragon Lord. So he's got to still be hoping for Erdrick's Sword here. But if that's the case, settling for the Flame Sword or grinding up to the Flame Sword was an interesting choice. But at the same time, the idea could be, well, I'm going to go down, see if the sword's there. If the sword's there, I'm going for my actual dive. If the sword's not there, then I'm going to grind that spike tile to 16 and let's see what happens. So, I mean, that's could be reasonable, and to say let's not waste our resources until we get to that point. Anyway, we have Cyberdark in chat. GG Cyberdark. Let's not waste our resources until we get to that.
Thank you very much.
Anyway, we have Cyberdark in chat. GG Cyberdark. So, how about that strength?
Yeah, strength wasn't great at all, ever. But, it worked out. The HP was amazing.
Yeah, I was saying I don't think I've ever seen seen someone kill a Droll Magi or Wolf Lord just by hitting them for 3 and 4 damage at a time. That was a new one.
Once was enough. After that, I said, no, not again.
So how did you feel with that start? And more importantly, the big thing is the fact that you went into Charlock first instead of looking for the other 2 caves. Were you hopeful? Was this just kind of a, I think it might be there? What was your thought process?
At the time I went in, it was, I think I've looked everywhere. I don't know where the 2 caves are. I'm just going to try and see what happens.
So your opponent also never found those 2 caves, so we've yet to even have an idea where Mountain or Grave are.
Oh, lovely. I was going to ask, but I guess there's no point.
Beta asks, what would your plan have been had it not been in Charlock? I imagine go look for those caves.
That was the plan, although now that I'm looking at chat, death warping out of Charlock would have been the idea. I hadn't even thought of that. But maybe just grinding the X-Knights until either got the strength I needed or could afford a broadsword even.
Yeah, because YakkoWakko20 was able to afford the Flame Sword without a dedicated gold grind, merely just by grinding outside of, I believe it was Hawksness where he was at. He never went to the Swamp Cave and didn't do the Axe Knight grind there.
Yeah, after dying to the Blue Dragon once, I had to go through Swap and find out what was there. And when it was the Axe Knight, it's just, well, I don't care about gold right now. All I care about is levels, because I know I need around 81 attack anyway, or strength. So I'll get there first, and then I'll look for the sword.
Yeah, that turned out to be the winning play for you, so...
Yakko's diving now, is he?
Yeah, he's diving. He got the flame sword, and obviously, he's gonna pick up this sword when he gets to the basement, so he should be good to go. But he sat there and grinded on the desert outside of Cole, I believe it was, just fighting, Charlock tier enemies, but at a much lower clip than the spike tile was, and that's really kind of was the difference in the seed. I think without that, it would have been a much closer race at the end.
And he's killing the very squishy wizards on his way down. So there's a good chance he'll be level 16 by the time he gets to the basement, and he still has 95 mana to his name.
So how about all the Charlotte, or I mean the castle you started with? having the staff and stone, or the harp and stones immediately, and the token very shortly thereafter, along with the armor. That was quite the extreme start.
Yeah, so I actually started 3 times. I got everything, but I knew I didn't have another key. So I said, well, we'll see what's in the back first, because maybe it's the sword. Or a trip to Garenham or something. And of course, when it wasn't, I said, okay, well, I'll explore until I die, and then I'll reset and grab the stuff and go again.
Funny enough, YakkoWakko20 found out that the swamp cave backed into or that it was a single continent seed, and he found Swamp North actually pretty early in the seed, and was able to go back that way and get keys before he found Rimalder. And you two actually went different ways and came to Rimalder at about the same time, as YakkoWakko20 right now does get his Erdrick sword, for those of you following along.
It was nice to have 122 HP even after the Death Necklace. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, you were kind of cutting close to there at the end. Of course, you got bad rolls, but getting you had a double early on, and getting that double could have very well been the difference.
Yeah, I think I was out of heal Morse, but I had 1 attack left, maybe?
That sounds right. So you said once you took that Droll Magi down after like a minute fight, and you're like, no more. What was your plan at that point? What were you trying to accomplish?
I'd actually like to see if Asmati made a graph for this one, because I'm sure I plateaued on experience for probably 15 minutes. I didn't kill anything. Everything that I could fight, I was only doing 3 or 4 damage, and everything else I was finding was Sherlock tier, so it was pointless. I really didn't know, and eventually, I think getting to level 9 or maybe level 10, I just went outside Cole and was like, okay, there's things Cole. Anyway, there was scorpions and magicians and specters, and I said, this is enough, it'll get me a level and I'll go from there.
Real fast, I'll mention that YakkoWakko just hit level 16 and got himself another 8 attack power. So when you add the Death Necklace with this will be a free fight for him.
Strength agility too. This was a good seed to do that. I thought about it and decided not to.
Yeah, what was the decision behind that? Because I know you like your strength agility builds, so what made you opt to go for strength HP?
It usually doesn't win many races. In the Chaos tournament, or any random flags tournament or whatever, I'll go strength agility all the time, because you never know. But in the seeds, in the standard tournament, normally strength HP is the way to go, so I figured I'd go for it.
Yeah, we figured as much, but it's good to hear it from you. As we have YakkoWakko20 talking to the Dragon Lord, being called a fool. However, I think we all know how this one's going to end and who's going to end up being the fool.
That'll be interesting to see if he chooses to go with the Death Necklace or not. He didn't do the immediate equip, which leads me to believe he's not interested in using the Death Necklace, which is completely unnecessary with 156 hit points. The 132 attack power will be sufficient to get the Dragon Lord down.
Definite possibility he'll get a triple attack off this in the beginning. But no. But still, this Healmore is going to bring him up to the point where he's definitely going to get a double here.
And he's rolling very well too. That was the thing I was noticing with your fight, Cyberdark, is you just were getting so many 10s and 11s, rolling so low at the low end of your range. It was starting to feel iffy.
I honestly didn't even remember what my attack power was. I knew it was above 130. I'll go for it and I don't care. There was one time I could have gambled, I didn't. I knew Dragon Lord could attack me for 49, maybe 50, so I kept healed above that.
Yakko pulls off another double here. Yeah, you were at the point where you could get hit for 50, so... healing at 48 was probably a good idea.
I actually thought about it too on my last dive. I should have went back up to Cole and healed. I would have had an extra heal more if I did, but I said, nah, I'm good enough, I'll go try it.
So I haven't been keeping track, but seeing how high YakkoWakko20 has been rolling and the number of doubles he's gotten, should be pretty close to taking down the Dragon Lord.
Yeah, I definitely would think so. He's just rolling ridiculously good, and is it 2 or 3 doubles he's had at this point? I think it's 3, so should be getting pretty close.
He did have a bad heal more there, that last one. Fortunately, the Dragon Lord played along nicely. Likely going to get a double here. Oh, nope, never got a chance to because he has taken down the Dragon Lord. Get out your GGs in chat for YakkoWakko20 as he makes his way back to the king. And with an official race time GG time of 1 hour, 41 minutes, and 43 seconds, YakkoWakko20 has completed the race. And we'll see if we can get him here in chat for an interview shortly.
All right, we're just waiting a moment till we can get YakkoWakko in the booth with us. So while we're waiting on that, do you have any other thoughts on this seed, Cyberdark?
No, it was fun. There was a lot of exploration. I'm glad I got to do it early. It's like the way I like to do it. The strength was abysmal, but the HP was amazing, and that really helped it out.
And we have YakkoWakko in the booth with us. GG. We're not hearing you right now. My guess is that push to talk is causing an issue. We're trying to get technical difficulty sorted out here. All right, well, while we're waiting for that to happen, I'll mention that in a few moments we will be sending you over to Randomania 2 for the race between DK9146 and Harrison. And then at 10:45, we will, or on RPG Limit Break, we will have the match between Monsieur Slime and Edge. And then tomorrow we have 3 more games for the first week. We have Sparkover versus Zarnax at 3 o'clock p.m. Velu V versus Angel FM and then at 8 o'clock, finishing off the night, we have Juizal, or also known as NYC Guy, versus F. Coughlin. And that will finish our rounds, and the draw for the second round will occur after that.
I'm not sure if we're going to have a live draw for that. It might just be push a button and everything will pop up in the schedule.
Yeah, I think Fred has some fancy little tool for handling it now, so we don't have to do all this stuff, because there are some caveats. Make sure nobody has to match up or match down multiple times. Make sure we don't have matchups that we've already had this year. So far this season, etc. So sometimes that takes a little bit of extra effort. All right, do we have YakkoWakko in chat now?
I am here.
All right, GG.
All right, 2 things. First of all, I love your graphic. I love how we're recycling here. And number 2, for those of you who know me, now you understand why I stick to commentary.
That doesn't seem that bad. You weren't that far behind. GG, by the way.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you guys were able to know it, but I had a lot of lag on my end. I don't know if it was noticeable on your end.
Yeah, it was very choppy on our end.
Yeah, unfortunately, getting every other pixel, it doesn't exactly help.
Oh, so you were seeing that choppiness as you were playing too. Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's weird. On when I problem was that when I'm streaming, the NES one gets choppy, but the SNES one doesn't get choppy, which is strange. I got to figure this out. But I have a feeling, I think it's time to retire this this machine. So.
So I will say that your grinding decision at the end, you never checked the spike tile in the swamp cave, and it was an axe knight, and that was really where you two were pretty close for most of the season. That was really where things pulled apart. Is you used that grind outside of Cull, and Cyberdark was able to get a quick grind with Hurt more on the axe knights in the swamp cave.
Okay. Yeah, my whole thing was I was trying to... I was missing... I could not find Mountain Cave. I could not find Grave. So I figured, you know what, I'll just grind to get the Flame Sword, and I'll see if the sword is in Charlock, which fortunately it was.
Yeah, neither of you actually found Grave or Mountain. Cyberdark never found them either.
Yeah, I don't feel so bad now.
I think I actually dove Charlock with a copper sword, just hoping that this Erdrick sword was down there.
I was half tempting to just say, forget it, and just go down there. But I was like, nah, let me get a little bit of insurance beforehand.
Yeah, I did the same. I went down at 13 maybe, and went down finally, or actually got it on my first dive too, and then came back and grinded for 15 before I went again.
Yeah, I went down at 15. As soon as I went in, I saw the dot done on that, and I said, okay, well, let me at least do an attempt before I dot F.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to go back and play more of that to see if I can find out where the 2 caves are.
Yeah, I think it was just flute and the death necklace were missing. I noticed that the flute was missing when I was trying to get that grind tile in the end.
You mentioned the death necklace. Death necklace was in coal. And did either of you think or consider doing the gold grind where the death necklace shirt spot was to the point where you can get the flame sword?
No, I saw that in chat after I finished and thought, oh, well, that would have been nice.
Okay, so we did find the death necklace. No, I did not think of that.
Yeah, as we were watching you guys get in slap fights with the monsters, thinking, man, it would be nice if they could do a little more damage here. And so we're trying to debate if the 3 to 4 minutes it would take to search that tile 80 times would be worth its savings by getting the flame sword.
That's true, but also at that same time, I wanted to get the experience as well.
Yeah, experience was really lacking. We were 45 minutes into the seed, and the two of you were about 20 experience apart at around the 825 mark. And so it was, yeah, experience was really slow coming at the beginning of that seed.
Yeah, about 45 minutes in, you guys were both at about level 8, and it took you quite some time to get up to the level where you got heal more. I think it was either 10 or 11, and then the level started coming substantially faster, especially once you got some NP in your tank as well.
Yeah, I think what started it for me was I finally decided just to start swinging at the Wolf Lords, and that actually was definitely helping me, even though I'm only hitting for like 4 at a time, but at least I was able to get something done.
Yeah, I tried it once with a Droll Magi and took a couple of minutes to fight one. Just one.
Yeah, I was trying a few of them, and I'm like, I did quite a few nope outs as soon as I'm seeing sleep or hurt more or breath or something.
Yeah, at the end when it came down to it, I think it was down to the Droll Magi and the Wolf Lord as the doable mid-tier monsters.
Yeah, eventually I went back and found the skeletons and... Skeletons? Yeah, it was Skeleton, Scorpion, and Spectre. And once I found them, it was... Okay, I can do this now.
Yeah, early on the skeletons I was able to do. I think I got... Because I know I got a critical on one of them, and it doubled my experience. Got me to like level 3.
I think a Drakima is what got me there. I tried to look for more and ended up finding werewolves just at the start.
Werewolves, AKs, blue dragons.
And Star Wyverns.
Yes, and the wyverns as well with the DL2 breath.
Ah, right. I only fought a couple of them before I gave up.
Needless to say, more nopes than yeses.
All right, well, I think that pretty much wraps it up. For those of you still with us, I believe we're going to be raiding over to Randomania 2, where a match is going on right now in between... Hold on, I need to check the tracker. In between DK9146 and Harrison. Before we head over there, gentlemen, do you have anything more to say?
GG Echo, and thank you guys for all the crew work. Kamian on Restream, Tilo and Elmore on comms, and Marashu on tracker.
GG, thank you guys, and rip to my computer.
All right, well, thank you both. GG's to you both for playing, providing an incredibly entertaining and unique Dragon Warrior Randomizer match, something that we don't see very often. I am Elmore St. James. With me is Tilo, Kamion Rinakai on the back end doing the restream, and Marashu online with the tracking. And with that, I bid you all farewell, good night, and I'll see you over at Randomania 2. All right. Well, good race.